Hey guys, it's Alex from 7th Hour Films back again with Breaking Bad. Last time on Breaking Bad, we had 1 minute. You got a minute to win it. Get to it. Anyway, sorry, that's a random Guy Fieri impression. Okay, so what all happened last episode? Some big stuff. Hank assaulted Jesse, and Jesse was going to sue. Walt had to really try to convince Jesse not to do it, and he also offered up partnership in his workings with Gus, and he got the other guy, Gale, fired. Hank realized that he had been spiraling out of control ever since Tuco, and he was like, yeah, I think I'm done here. But then it was like, hey, the Pinkman, he's going to not press charges, so it should be all right. And I was like, cool. And then he was getting flowers for Marie because he's all happy and stuff. And then the two assassins found him, and he had to fight them. And he crushed the pelvis of one of them. I get the feeling that he's dead. And the other one he was able to shoot in the head at the last second. So at the very least, one of them is dead, and the other one probably paralyzed, if not dead. So yeah, but Hank did get shot a number of times, so it was pretty tense overall. So yeah, with that being said, we should go ahead and get right into this episode of Breaking Bad. Here we go. Oof. Is that Jesse? Man, he's got bruises. Ah, shit. Hank.
How many entry wounds?
We found 4. Shoulder and hip, through and through. Right lung and lower left quadrant. No visible exit wounds.
Yeah, what happened to him?
2 grams. How you feeling? You okay?
Actually,
Ah.
I'm great.
Oh my gosh. He's happy Hank got shot. Ugh. I was curious if he was going to be happy or not.
I thought we were kind of simpatico, you know?
We
were becoming a real team.
He had to fire him.
It's as if I'm classical, but you are more jazz. Jazz.
This guy's having
Yes.
none of his
And
shit.
God knows there is nothing wrong with jazz. It's simply
I have to say, Walt's ability to tap dance around situations is frankly impressive. He sucks, and no one buys it, but...
shit. Man, this is the bar.
Doesn't that look awkward?
I guess this is.
Huh. See how fast that handshake was?
Get a blood pressure cuff or an ABI. Where's that blood?
Oh, that's the other guy.
Sir, can I help you? Yeah, it's all right. He's family.
Yay, Gomez.
Considering he didn't even have his gun.
Yeah.
He didn't have his gun. Why didn't Hank have his gun?
Oh shit.
Marie, the assault charge. I had to suspend Hank pending the investigation. That means I had to take away his weapon.
It was just the most horrible timing.
Sorry,
Go.
Mom.
You are not welcome here. The DEA is not welcome here.
Ah, shit. I mean, I didn't expect this.
It's you, Walt.
What?
Hank was looking for. Hank would have never even heard his name if you hadn't bought marijuana from him.
What? Okay. You're really...
Do you?
You're grasping at straws.
You're upset, and you're looking for someone to blame, and it's understandable, but don't blame Walt.
Yeah.
It's not his fault.
You're gonna turn on Skylar next? It makes sense.
Hello.
Jesse, the hell? What even? God, he is so bored.
Walter
Someone's got to go get back to work.
I'm not actually sure if the cafeteria necessarily qualifies as being part of the hospital.
It's in the same building. It's all under the same roof. Do you think that sick people aren't eating with this bacteria-infested silverware? My God, how are you supposed to survive this death trap?
It's not like they serve the greatest food at hospitals.
I had my lobectomy at this hospital. Remember that?
Oh, yeah.
How they were actually going to cut me open,
Yeah, okay.
take out a part of me.
You don't need
that
so
was
much
with
detail,
me my
man.
entire life. Waiting for them to anesthetize you.
There's a point to the story.
You may never wake up again.
Okay, and...
Actually.
Okay.
What I really... I mean, every single light that we hit... green. And the whole time, all I could think about was... why today? Why? Why
Yes,
can't
okay,
I just
come on.
spend a few extra minutes in the car with my family? I never wanted to be stuck in traffic so bad in my life. I survived this place. And I'm not half the man your husband is.
There you go. Aw, man. Such a good story.
I didn't order this, and my men would never do this on their own. Someone gave the go-ahead. He's innocent until proven guilty, correct? I'll get him the best lawyer, and then we'll learn the truth.
Well, keep me apprised.
Oh, shit. This could start a war.
Anytime you've got that kind of...
You gotta see what Hank did to that bastard. Wanna see?
But he might recognize him as Heisenberg. Oh. He lost both his legs. Someone go in there. Oh, Jesus Christ. Man, bastard lost both of his legs. Woo! Oh my God. Are we gonna have a montage of Jesse being bored? Oh my God, he's so bored.
Finally, about damn time.
That looks bad.
Someone was coming up from Mexico to get us. Do you remember? No. Who was that?
What the hell has this even got to do with... I don't know. It was,
His cousins?
Cousins.
Oh!
Jesse, it was his cousins.
They do reference that.
cousins. Whatever, man. Why?
God damn it, man. Go back to work. So that was them. Man, I didn't even connect those dots.
Well, it's more about the guys who investigated him and tried to bring him down. Some of them were DEA, you know?
Like Hank.
Uncle Hank.
Yeah.
Said that they were worth learning about. That everybody knows who Pablo Escobar is, but nobody knows about the guys that brought him down.
Everyone knows who Heisenberg is.
Guess I never thought about it.
And we will do whatever it takes. It has my total attention. We'll cook through the weekend if necessary. We will have 400 pounds for you by next week.
I have your word on that.
You do.
400
Have
pounds
my
by
word
next
on it.
week.
Thank you for the update. We'll be right down. Food's here. Hey, you like pollos hermanos?
Ugh.
On occasion.
Orders
Oh
a big
my
booster
gosh.
For the DEA, you heard what happened? He's gonna feed every cop in the building.
Wonderful.
Yeah. And apparently he's bringing it by personally.
Of course he fucking is. Oh my gosh, I love how the act of a chicken dinner is terrifying now. That's what this show has done.
Again, I can't express how sorry I am. As it happens, I actually met Agent Schrader.
Really?
Our fun run a couple of months ago.
Yeah.
Mr. Fring was one of our sponsors.
That's true.
Thank you. Again, very much. It was a great pleasure to meet you.
This is very surreal.
Is this some sort of message?
I'm supporting my community. I hide in plain sight, same as you.
Yeah.
Are we done? I am told the assassin that survived is gravely injured. It's doubtful he'll live. Now, thank me and shake my hand.
Oh, did he kill the other assassin?
Starting chest compression. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2.
He totally did.
Patient is in asystole.
When he said, "Oh, he's not likely to survive," it's like, what, you know something?
Burn in hell, you piece of shit.
Oh my god. That's the end of both of them then. Oh! Oh! Middleman.
One DEA gets shot, all of Washington starts barking. The DF suddenly has to put on a big show, and I wind up with federales in my rose bushes. But just for a while. Appearances. Politics. Are you still there, Gustavo? Maybe we come pay you a visit. Maybe we come. ¿Qué es eso? ¿Qué es eso? Vayan a ver.
You sure? Looks like it's about to go down. Oh! Holy shit. Damn, I want to break a cell phone someday. Wow. That was crazy. So the cartel's out of commission.
I'm sorry, but I'm afraid it's immediate family only.
We're all family.
I understand, but we have a certain protocol here that we need to...
We're all family.
Okay. Jesus. That's it. Okay. Ow. That's the end of the episode. Alrighty. Man. You know, I guess you could kind of look at this as like an aftermath episode technically, but I mean, there's a lot. There's quite a lot in there, I have to say, so... Man, that was crazy. That was crazy. Man, they definitely capture, having had to have gone through this on one or two occasions myself, they definitely capture the feeling of just waiting in a hospital, you know? Like, that is definitely there. I guarantee. Yeah, that's pretty good. That's pretty good how they did that. Man, Gus has to be one of the most terrifying characters I've seen in a while. Like this is a kingpin, and this is exactly like, okay, oh my god, am I gonna do this again? We'll briefly mention this, but okay, because I just said kingpin. Let me just tell you, Daredevil, I know Daredevil was canceled, but take notes. Take notes. because this is how you do a crime boss. Arrow, take notes too with Ricardo Diaz. Take notes. Everyone, all future writers, take notes because this is how you do it. This guy is one of the most intimidating characters. The fact that all they have to say is, oh, a chicken shop is giving us dinner. That is so intimidating in this show. The fact that you just hear that Los Pollos is providing dinner, you know that this is terrifying. Which is so weird that that's a thing. It's so weird that that's a thing. That just the act of getting chicken can be terrifying. You know? Oh my gosh. But this is how you do it. If you want a crime boss, honestly, I feel like every future writer needs to take notes from Gus. Because I have seen some bad crime bosses, you know? Kingpin on Daredevil, god-awful character. Ricardo Diaz on Arrow, god-awful character. This is how you do it. This is how you do it, and I cannot believe how intimidating this man is. He's not even, because like he's not like a built man or anything. Honestly, it kind of looks like maybe Walt is a bit more built. He's a little bit taller too, and it's like, but you just know that it's just he's just so intimidating. And the way he can switch from being nice Mr. Fring, you know? The nice Mr. Fring who's providing chicken and, you know, helping out and stuff, to Mr. Fring, you know, your boss. You know, oh my gosh, it's just terrifying. Just to the point, like, you know, like, you are genuinely terrified when Walt is just on a phone call with him, you know? Just on a phone call with him. And it's incredible how much slack Walt is getting, you know? And you have to know, Gus has to know that the whole thing about Gale is a complete lie, you know? It's a complete lie, but he's willing to put some trust in Walt, you know? Which is why he also says, you know, when Walt is like, hey, you know, next week we will give you 400 pounds, I guarantee. And he's like, okay. And that's just the end. Like, I have your word. I'm going to hold you to that, you know? Just the fact that you just get terrified when they say, we're all getting chicken for dinner. Perfect. It's just amazing, you know? Alright. Let's go ahead and hop into the notes. The first thing I wrote down is parting and Gale. That, you know, okay. I said in the reaction, Walt's ability to tap dance around situations. He sucks. He absolutely sucks. But it is amazing to watch him just tap dance. He is just tap dancing around everything. And no one ever believes it, you know? Between Skylar, Gus, Gale, no one ever believes him when he starts tap dancing. But man, if he does not commit to tap dancing, you know? Walter White is a tap dancing fool. I want a t-shirt of a tap dancer with Walter White's face on it. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. But yeah, so we lost Gale. Gale rightfully pissed about like, he kept it in, but he's rightfully pissed about it. It's like, there's no... Walt is not giving any legitimate reason as to why he's being fired. And then Jesse just walks in and is like, this is my replacement? Really? And I think that's when he starts to get like, alright, I'm just gonna leave. It's like, let's just part ways. So yeah, I do feel bad, I feel bad for Gale, but I mean, yeah, it's like if someone got fired, like someone who gets fired because the boss wants to hire his like brother or something. It's like that's basically it. It's like with Walt. Walt, honestly, it's his son. Let's be frank. Let's all be frank here. Jesse is honestly his second son. It's like he's his other son. But that's the thing. It's basically Walt got this guy fired so that he could hire his other son, basically. That's basically it. And in both scenarios, there is no reason you can give to justify this. He tried. Don't get me wrong, Walter White was tap dancing to try to get a reason. But no, Gale saw right through that. So, I feel bad. Hopefully he gets another job somewhere, Hopefully. I wrote down blame. Yeah. We did have Marie playing the blame game, which, again, it's like, normally when we do a scene like that, I'm always kind of the guy who's like, well, you can understand where they're coming from. And honestly, I guess you can understand where she's coming from, but we all know that whole thing is just because she's grieving, She's upset and she's trying to blame someone for this, because it's like, oh, well, the DEA took Hank's gun. Well, they didn't expect this to happen. It was standard protocol. It was like, all right. To them, it was just, well, we gotta take your badge and your gun, and then you go and you just live your life, Whereas she's looking at it, in hindsight being 2020. She's like, well, if you hadn't done this, then he would have had his gun for this. It's like, how could they have possibly expected to have that, Or, it's like, oh, you're his partner, you're supposed to back him up, and you were in Texas. How could he possibly know that Hank was going to be attacked, But, obviously, even in the show, they have to chalk it all up to, she is upset, she is grieving, So... but it was still interesting. Man, poor Marie. I do feel really bad for Marie. With everything that Hank has been going through, and then to end up getting shot 4 times, like, oh boy, that is pretty crazy. I wrote down schedule. So they were already behind schedule. And then Walt gets more behind schedule. Because he goes to the hospital, and I was wondering, like, is there going to be any way for him to get out of it? Because here's the thing. As a guy who has been to the hospital for family emergencies on a couple occasions, I can tell you don't always have to be at the hospital. Like I guess my understanding for this, episode is that the 4 of them stayed there the whole time, and they were pretty much, they were like consistently, they were wearing the same clothes for days, which that is interesting that Walt didn't get them a fresh set of clothes, But like, look, as I can speak from experience as being in that sort of situation, maybe not, waiting because someone got shot or something, but I can tell you, like, I've had to wait at hospitals before, and sometimes, it'll be like, okay, well, someone will stay there overnight, but, if we don't all have to be there, then yeah, some of us will go home, go rest, in a bed, and other people will stay there. It's like, I've been in that situation, but that just was not the case here. And I bet you, because I was wondering if, like, Walt was going to say at one point, like, oh, well, maybe I'll head on home for for a bit, But, like, I was curious if that was going to happen, and it's like, I bet you the reason he never, like, suggested that was because he knew Skylar would see straight through that. He knew that Skylar would see straight through that, and she would know that he was going to go back to work. He was going to go keep, making drugs, cooking drugs. And so he didn't even bring it up because he knew that she would know. So that's why, I bet you that's why he never brought up leaving for a while, The closest he got was when he was like, well, I got to go to I'll go get toothbrushes and stuff for everyone. And then, he's like, oh, I'll swing by your house. And he had to go to the drugstore. But he did all that stuff. I thought that was going to be his excuse. And I was like, that's not a very good excuse. It didn't take too long. Like, maybe he'd be out for like an hour, But that's not enough time, But no, he never found an excuse to go, Which, I mean, maybe that says a lot about Walt, where it's like, hey, yeah, he does have to go do this, but he is going to stay with them as much as he can. I hope this isn't causing issues on the microphone. Is it me doing this? Like, you can't hear this. I don't know. Sorry, it's, like I said, I think it was last episode when I said I had the ceiling fan on high. So, if I have the ceiling fan on high, generally the paper starts blowing in the breeze, so I'm keeping stuff on it. So now I'm fidgeting with my bottle cap. So yeah, you can probably hear that. So I'll fidget with it over. So yeah, so maybe that does say a lot about Walt. That he's not going to just abandon them to go get back to work, even though he really needs to get back to work. And if he doesn't do this, he has to face the wrath of Gus. Oh boy. So yeah. So I thought that was interesting. And again, he did, Walt did, like, he tap danced with Gus too. He was like, oh, well, Gale, he put us so far behind, and I've been running errands and stuff, and we've been trying to, get this to work and stuff, so we might be a little bit behind. I was thinking that he was, like, as he was talking, I was like, dude, just say, like, but, we're going to do as much as we can, for this week and stuff, and then he would go. But no, never. He just said, hey, next week we'll be sure to have 400 pounds for you. And Gus, I think Gus knew. That, he was lying about Gale, and it was because of Hank, and he was like, fine, do your shit. 400 pounds, though, I'm holding you to that or you're fucking dead, basically, It's like, it's basically like, I'm giving you this one time, basically. So, yeah, so that was crazy. I wrote down cartel conflict. Isn't that interesting? So, I like that, the two of them, the two cousins, they got the okay from Gus, but it's just not a good thing, because that puts a lot on the cartels, That puts a lot of pressure on the cartels, especially the government, the United States government just, what'd they say? I got federales outside, So, yeah, that was interesting, like, the consequences of that. More than just, like, oh, well, I allowed them to. Like, he never owned up to it, He never owned up to it, and now, looks like the cartel's gone. Or at least he is, that guy. He did say there were I'm sure there's other people in the cartel, or maybe other cartels. Who knows? I don't know the inner workings, but, at least that guy is gone. We've kind of taken care of that entire family. Honestly, the only one left is Tio. And it's not like he can do shit. except shit, basically, you know? But yeah, like, no Tuco, the cousins are gone, the boss, the cartel boss is gone, like, yeah, we kind of, I don't know, it's kind of interesting, because it's like, was this Gus's plan? But maybe, hey, it got them off his back, you know? Because after Tuco, and then, after Tuco, it's like, they're going after Heisenberg, and then he's like, okay, well, how, I wonder if, like, he knew, like, alright, if I direct them towards Hank, then the DEA and the government, like, they're gonna be on their asses, basically, you know? And, like, did he expect Hank to be able to kill them? I don't know. I think it just sort of worked out that way, you know? Like, I don't know how much of this was planned out, like, oh, well, if I give them Hank, then, you know, the government's going to go after them, and then they'll be out of my way. I don't know if that was necessarily his plan or not, but it all worked out that way. I wrote down recognize. That was pretty cool when the one assassin who I was right last time when I was like, we're not sure if he's dead or not, and sure enough he wasn't dead, but they amputated both of his legs, which was crazy. And yes, he did recognize Heisenberg. He did recognize Walt. And man, just him just, you know, crawling across the floor, that was pretty crazy to watch, you know? So, and then, oh my gosh, and then the most terrifying thing in existence, the last thing I wrote down is Poyos. When they just says, like, oh, well, you know, when Gomez is on the phone, he's like, all right, that's great. He's like, hey, we're all getting dinner. Los Poyos is giving us, you know, chicken tonight. Just immediately when he says that, it's like, oh shit. It's like, oh, the boss, he's the boss of Los Pollos, he's delivering it himself. It's like, ah, shit, Gus is here. So, yeah, that was pretty crazy. That was crazy. And it's like, and then when he said, that's the thing, when he said, like, oh, well, the other one, well, he had some very serious injuries, and he's not expected to survive. And it's like, what? It's like, wait, he seemed alright. Like, he seemed alright when they went to visit him. It's like, oh, he's not expected to survive. Like, what? It's like, what do you mean there? I'm making a video public. I feel like I do this in every Breaking Bad video. Whatever. Okay. So, yeah, it's like, oh, he's not expected to survive. It's like, wait, what? It's like, oh, he's gonna kill him, and sure enough, they all start running up there, and it's like, oh, okay. Sure enough, he's dead. I love to, when we get to see Middleman again, God, I wish we had his name, but when we see Middleman, and he just walks by and just, like, deposits a syringe, and that's it, and he goes, you know? I love when they do that, you know? He walks by, deposits the syringe, and then leaves. Or at the end, after, you know, Gus knows that the cartel boss is dead, he's just, and he just throws away the phone. I like that. Man, I want to break a flip phone someday. Like, I see this in so many, like, shows, I feel like, where, you know, they have that phone and then just, and then they, you know, they break it and then they throw it away because, like, hey, we can't be contacted anymore. You know, it's like, man, I want to do that someday. I want to take a flip phone and just break it in half, you know? Like, I want to do that, but yeah. So, honestly, everything has worked out for Gus, and everything has worked out for Walt, too, because no one else is going to come after him. You know, I think we're out of family members to send after Walt and Hank and stuff, so I think everything's kind of been taken care of, and now Walt just needs to go, you know, get cooking, you know? He's got a lot of cooking to do. 400 pounds by the end of next week. That is crazy. And Jesse's just going to be happy to do something because he has been bored out of his mind just waiting in there. So, yeah. But that's pretty much it. Great episode. I really, really enjoyed it, and I can't wait. We're on to the final 5 of this season. Isn't that crazy? So, yeah. Feels like this season really flew by, but, well, we still got 5 weeks left, so it's still going to be a little bit. But, yeah, that is pretty much it. With all that being said, I'm Alex from 7th Hour Films, and I will see you guys next time. Take care. Alright guys, thanks for watching this video. If you want to watch more of my Breaking Bad reactions, you can click on the playlist, you can subscribe if you haven't done that already, and be sure you hit that notification bell. You can support me on Patreon and follow me on social media, links below in the description. See you guys later.